Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you to all of you for joining us tonight. Thank you to my board. We have 5 of our wonderful board members here. Also my family came, so thanks to my family. And then we have some of our local poets, a member and Ray Crossman, who have brought some friends. So thank you all for joining us for a lovely intimate event with Matthew Ray Jones, Ontario's Poet Laureate. I'm very excited to welcome you to the 2025 Anne Szumigalski Lecture. And we're very excited to have Matthew Ray Jones, also known as Testament, who will be performing and then presenting our 2025 lecture. I would like to note that we are gathering today on the Haldimand Tract, which is a stretch of land on either side of the Grand River, traditionally belonging to the Six Nations of the Grand River. The Six Nations currently only have possession of 5% of the Haldimand Tract and are in active litigation against both Canada and Ontario, and constantly researching the history of land claims and land transfers. And if you'd like to find out more about the work that they do, you can visit sixnations.ca. My name is Nick Brewer, and I'm the Artistic Programming Director at the League of Canadian Poets. Many of you already know what the League is, but I'm also recording this, so maybe they don't. The League is Canada's only national professional poetry organization, and it's our mission to support poets and poetry in Canada through awards, publications, advocacy, and events like this. So thank you for being part of our work. The Anne Szumigalski Lecture Series was established in 2002, and it has presented lectures from many of Canada's most influential poets, including Dion Brand, Lillian Allen, and Billy Ray Belcourt. And since its inception, we've been very lucky to partner with the Prairie Fire Journal, who has published the lecture each year in their beautiful print journal. The League is also very grateful to the support of the Canada Council for the Arts, the Ontario Arts Council, and the Toronto Arts Council, whose operating grants make our work possible. And I'm now pleased to formally introduce Matthew Ray Jones. From poetry, spoken word, and emceeing to facilitating, hosting, and keynoting, Matthew Ray has been using his natural speaking abilities to inspire audiences for over 20 years. He has performed and taught from coast to coast to coast and internationally in Venezuela and Italy. To date, he has recorded 3 albums and co-founded the artist collective Peace, people everywhere actually coexisting equally. And you can see some Peace hats behind us here, which are available for purchase. A father, artist, entrepreneur, and revolutionary, Matthew Ray uses his passion for words, art, and life to motivate, inspire, and lead. He trusts in the values of peace, love, and unity as his guiding principles as he continues to spread his message worldwide, and tonight in Kitchener at Whoopsie Daisy.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me out. Good evening, everyone, and welcome. How y'all doing? Feeling good? Got a good vibration in there. We're gonna get you loose a little bit. How you feeling? Good. There we go. One thing about me is I'm an energy person, and thank you so much for coming out. Everyone's already been so good and kind, and as soon as I walked in this space is really nice. It's got a good vibe, right? So I'm very pleased to be here. As was mentioned, my name is Matthew Jones, also known as Testament. Can you all say Testament? Thank you for that. I know some of you in here are performers, and I feed off of your energy. So the more energy you give to me is the more energy I'm gonna put into my presentation this evening. As was mentioned, we're very proud of our work, and I'm the co-founder of an organization called Peace, people everywhere actually coexisting equally. But friends, I gotta let you know, as much as a writer I am, I didn't come up with that acronym. It was actually one of my best friends in the world. Anybody got a good friend? Somebody that you can trust, somebody that you can call? Like, I don't have many people I can call at 3 o'clock in the morning, but I was hanging out with this friend, and we were sitting around a table, eating some food, and we're both spoken word artists and MCs and poets, and he turned to me and he said, "Tess, can I share one of my new lyrics with you?" I said, "My brother, I love your lyrics. Please go ahead." And here's what he said. His name is Russell King. Here's what he said. He said, "I'm a king, so understand my dreams before you speak to me. People everywhere actually coexisting equally." And when he said that, he was trying to continue his piece. I gotta be honest, y'all, I totally cut him off. I was like, stop. I said, "Brother, That's the greatest acronym for peace I've ever heard in my whole life. We need stickers, we need t-shirts, we need a website, we need a whole peace movement. So in 2007, we launched the peace movement, which is all about helping people realize each one of us is a piece of peace. What I mean by that is, I believe that each one of us have unique skills, talents, and abilities. And when you use your skills, talents, and abilities, and I do the same, they can come together like puzzle pieces to make the world an even better place. So I bring greetings, not only on behalf of myself, but the whole peace team, because this is a message and movement that I bring with me everywhere. So we're gonna start with the performance, and this is how I like to introduce myself. My name is Testament, and I represent peace. Everywhere I go, I want to see peace increase, and even though it seems like the wars will never cease, I'm gonna do this till the day that I'm gone and I'm deceased, because P is for the people, yes, the people everywhere. I'm asking for your hands to actually be in the air. Put them up, put them up, put them up. So we could coexist with whoever up in here, living equally the vision that I really want to share. With a wave to the left and a wave to the right. Put your hands up high if you're about that life. And don't ever let anybody block your light, because you are a star. You gotta shine bright and make your own music. Just ride to the rhythm. Don't let anybody ever stand in the way of your vision. PEACE is how it's written. In becoming a peace, that's really my soul mission. What's the opposite of war? Peace. What it's really all for? Peace. What the world needs more? What we're all trying to see is peace, no doubt. So what's the opposite of war? Peace. And what it's really all for? And what the world needs more? And what we're all trying to see is peace. So if you could join me, if everyone could just put their peace signs in the air like this. When we put our peace signs up like this, we show that we are unified in the vision that one day we can be people everywhere actually coexisting equally. Thank you so much. Give us some snaps up right there, some snaps up. Yeah. If you hear something that you like, don't be afraid to give me a soul grunt, like a yeah. Or if you want to snap it up, or if you want to clap, or you want to slap the tables. I love the interaction. A lot of my work is based on rhyme. You all know what rhymes are, right? If I said, what rhymes with cat? I knew you was gonna be the first one too. Okay, what rhymes with blue? Okay, good, all of that. What rhymes with stereo? There, that was good. What's the name of our province? Ontario. Yes. And the reason that I love rhyme, I fell in love with rhyme and lyricism because a lot of research has been done, and they realized that rhymes actually help us remember quickly and for longer periods of time. So I always love to use some form of rhyme in my work in various degrees, but a couple of these pieces I'm starting with are heavier rhyme based. But I have a very important message for you. I have an event coming up in Mississauga at the Living Arts Center on September 27th. This is a plug, shameless plug actually, September 27th. I would love you to be there. The event is called A Celebration of Hip Hop and Poetry, Words, Power, Sound. And I'm gonna give you a little sneak peek of some of the pieces that I'm gonna be sharing on this particular evening. This piece is dedicated to all of you. You are powerful. It's inside. This is not what you see with your eyes. Trust you can and know you will. Believe in yourself and it all becomes real. You are powerful. It's inside. This is not what you see with your eyes. Trust you can and know you will. Believe in yourself and it all becomes real. You might not feel the best, just know you're so blessed. Let go of stress, make life your best wish. Anything you think that you can do. Never let another say what it's you can't do, cause you made for greatness. Oh, it's so amazing. Eye and hair raising, keeping the fire blazing. Travel around the nation, bringing the vibration. Join the celebration of you and your creation. Never stop trying, cause the timing is now. Might be a lot of things trying to keep you down, but you gotta keep it moving. You gonna get that crown. Stay focused on the vision, no more playing around. Get quiet, be calm, and make a plan. Do something from your passion. Take a stand. And don't listen to the doubt. I know you can. Reach for that inner power. You could take that chance because you are powerful. It's inside. This is not what you see with your eyes. Trust you can and know you will. Believe in yourself. And it all becomes real. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Good, thanks. So I know there's a lot of writers in here. Well, show me where the writers are. Hands up, writers. 2 hands up, writers. Yeah. Awesome. Beautiful. So today, as school has come back, something that's very near and dear to my heart is volunteering and giving back to the community. How many people think it's important to help others? Yeah, I'm so thankful. My mama taught me that it's so important that we help others. And so I volunteer for an organization called Food for Kids, Halton. We just do food deliveries. Sometimes food security is an issue. And you know, food is mood, right? Food is mood, right? You know, Bob Marley said it best. A hungry mob is a angry mob, right? So we want to make sure that people have food in their system. So today we started our first delivery of the season, and there's a park near where I live where I can perfectly see the escarpment. And after I do my deliveries on a gorgeous day like today, I take some time, and I was sitting out there. And often, because, you know, I make music, I'm also a hip hop artist and stuff like that, often the answer for me is silence. And it's in the silence where I can get out of my head, I can stop scrolling on my phone. I know I'm not the only one. And I was thinking, and lo and behold, a brand new piece came to my fingers today. Would you be okay if I share with you a piece that I wrote this afternoon with you in mind? Is that okay? That's okay? Yeah. Nah, y'all don't really want it. Y'all don't really want it. Can I share it with you? Yeah. All right, perfect. So I brought some books and some goodies over here. This particular book, when I found out that I was going to be Poet Laureate, I got this book and I was like, you know what? I'm in my golden era. So you know what? I'm gonna get a book with black pages and only write in gold ink until the end of my term, right? So I'm like, I'm on my gold thing, but let's be honest, I'm always on the road, so a lot of digital writing happens. But when I get the chance like today, I love to write things down. And this is just the inspiration that hit me from staring at the escarpment today. You are the very first people to hear this, and maybe the only, you know? I know some of you writers out there, like, how much stuff do you have piled up that nobody's ever heard, you know? You're like, I'm over it, nobody's even heard it yet. Yeah, that happens to me all the time. But this was inspired today. Can there ever be too much gratitude? Does the eye ever tire from wanting to see? Does the ear ever stop wanting to hear? There can be no limit on thankfulness. A grateful heart is an anchor in a frivolous world of illusion and spectacle. No one can tell you what to appreciate, so take time to differentiate between the climate of your existence. Feelings can be freeing, but also fleeing and fleeting at the same time. So always keep in mind the goodness before you as you navigate this winding terrain. Notice the ground beneath your shoes and take them off sometimes. Let your feet dig into the soil like they're looking for gold mines. Allow the sun to kiss away all the depression, transgressions, aggressions, and pain. Laugh at nothing and enjoy it. Every snort, rib cage pain, giggle, and tear that comes from it. That, my friends, is what we call gratitude. Standing or sitting in silence as the sun sets with deep breaths and exhalation. Inhale the aroma of the splendor laid out in the journey of each day. But here's the hard part. Can you be grateful you woke up although you don't feel like living? Can you bend your knees and bow your head reluctantly in silence when you feel like breaking? When time seems like it's taking all the time in the world. When everything that could go wrong, did go wrong. It's easy to show those big pearly whites when things seem right, but the challenge lies in the paradox of giving thanks for all of it. the up, the down, the right, the left, what minds forget, the days collect, written on invisible pages, magnified on earthly stages, sung about by many sages, traversing through all the ages. See, life's not only about wages, but it's about what you wager. The things that you do that don't waver, those are the things that last forever. So while still in this caper, decide to be the praiser. Though life cuts like a razor, just say a little prayer. Even if your lips freeze up and your mind goes blank, true strength lies in how we give thanks. Thank you. Yeah, I like that piece. I like that. That came out today. Listen, it was your energy that inspired that. Yeah. Think about this. I have a friend. He invited me to his wedding. He's getting married tomorrow in Ghana. And my schedule, I couldn't be there. I have 4 children. My oldest son just started grade 12. And he told me he wants to come to Laureate. So I might be driving out here a whole lot more. But when I think about the words that we cultivate, often I talk to my children. I say, I have a friend in Ghana. I could send him a text message right now. He'll get it immediately. How much more can you do with your mind? So no, you didn't know me, but you knew you were coming here. You knew I was going to be presenting. So you were part of that energy. So thank you so much for that. I appreciate you all. Okay, so I don't know how many of you are going to be at my event. I wish all of you could be there, but I got to do a little bit of rehearsal. Can I try a piece on you that I'm trying to memorize? Because I don't want to have my book at this particular event. I want to really, really feel it. If you're okay, I'm going to try it out. It might be a little rocky.
Yes. Go for it. This is a safe space.
Yeah?
Absolutely it is.
Y'all okay with that? If you're okay with that, give me a yeah. Yeah. Okay, energy check is good. I like it. So a little bit of context for this piece. As I said to you, volunteering is very near and dear to my heart. And I partner with about 10 different school boards here in Southern Ontario, one of which I have a fabulous mentor. He's been my mentor for the last 12 years, and he runs a lot of the leadership programs for the Toronto Catholic District School Board. So in March break of this year, my mentor, myself, and about 30 students from the TCDSB, we went all the way to the Philippines. And while we were out there for 2 weeks, we were working with an organization called ANCOP, which stands for Answering the Cry of the Poor. Now, the Philippines, I've been a lot of places in the world. The level of poverty was absolutely nothing like I've ever seen. But one thing that really resonated with me is how genuine the people were. I don't know what it is about these so-called third world countries. They're willing to give you the clothing off of their back, any piece of food that they have. And yet sometimes here in North America, we got the warm houses. All of y'all look good in your clothes today, your little fits and all this stuff. But yet we still have things to complain about. So this piece is inspired by my trip to the Philippines. Okay, so I'm working on the memorization. I'm gonna try my best. Here we go. I saw you, but you didn't see me. You'll never see me. You'll actually never know I even existed, but I will always remember you. And I want the world to know that I saw you. I was passing by in an air-conditioned car, and your plight touched my heart and evoked these words. I pray that you know that even though you live in desolation, your life matters. I need you to understand that every time I write for you. No, you don't know me and you don't need to know me, but because I saw you, I've been compelled to speak. See, life seems to tell me that you're poor because you don't have money or physical possessions, but my spirit tells me you're stronger than a tsunami. See, where I'm from, people can let opportunities slip from their grasp with a shoulder shrug awaiting the next one. But you don't even know where your opportunity is. Each day you spend it trying to survive, trying to get another meal. And my heart is pierced not in pity, but in piety. And my pen pronounces judgment on generations and generations that have made it this way. I won't even say it's unfair, it's unethical, it's inhumane, and I'm not just talking about the living conditions. I'm ashamed that earth beings that have made it this way have fallen into the abyss that has made us cold to the cry of the suffering. I will never blame God for something we can fix. I will never blame God for something we can fix. Because to me, that's like an excuse for not wanting to create the solution. Maybe not a solution now, maybe not ever like how I see in my mind's eye, but a solution nonetheless. Maybe we could stack ideas on top of ideas and feed the world food for thought that could fill hungry bellies and minds. I saw you, but you never saw me. You'll never see me, you'll never know I even existed, but I will always remember you. And I want the world to know I saw you. Thank you. I did all right. That was okay. All right. One little stumble in there. There's one little stumble in there. I did okay. I did all right. Not too bad. You know, a little bit in there. But thank you for giving me the space to share that with you. You know, writing is something that has been like a safe haven for me. You know, it was my mom when I was 6 years old that gave me a diary. Yes, it's everything you were thinking. It was pink and purple, had a little key so I could lock away my secrets and all that good stuff, right? But I just started writing down how my day was. Like, oh my goodness, the girl that I like, she talked to me. You know, this happened. This is what I want for Christmas, my birthday. And then it evolved into a full-out poetry book. And by the time I was 10, 11 years old, I was writing some pieces that sounded like this. One last kiss from my lover before I depart from this earth. I was like 10 years old. I didn't know nothing about that, right? But those blank sheets of paper for me were a place where I felt free. I grew up in a single parent home, and as a young man, I struggled to find myself often. So I'm gonna be honest with you. I gave mama a little bit of trouble, okay? Your boy here gave some trouble, right? And the one thing I loved though was writing, but see, like, I didn't think poetry was cool, so I hid my poetry book in a very specific place. It was down the stairs, behind the door, in a box, underneath a pile of papers. I thought it was the perfect hiding space. So one day I get an idea, and I wanna go write, right? So I go downstairs, open the door, underneath the stairs, there's no box. But I didn't panic. The box belonged to my auntie who was living with us. So I went up to my auntie trying to be like real casual, right? You know, so I was like, hey auntie, like, how you doing? How you doing? You good today? Oh man, your hair looks really nice. And she's like, boy, what do you want? I said, okay, there's this box downstairs, underneath the stairs behind the door. Like, what happened to that box? And she's looking at me all puzzled, right? And she's like, why would you be looking for that box? That box only had my old schoolwork in it, and I threw it away last week. Friends, my heart sunk to the floor, but I could still remember my red Hilroy book. I printed my name on the front and dated each page neatly, but that little snippet that I gave you is the only thing that I remembered. I would give anything, well, not anything, I'd give a lot of things to see where my mindset was at back at that time. So after my poetry book got thrown away, like, I didn't even think about starting another one. The only thing I was focused on is giving as much trouble in the least amount of time as possible. You know what I'm saying? I was just like, you know what? Let's see how many times I can get suspended. You know, let's see how many times, you know, my mom, like, okay, my parents didn't abuse me, but okay, I gotta be real with you. Like, my parents come from the West Indies in Jamaica, okay? I was born in Canada, but West Indian parents, Jamaican parents, a little bit different. Not better, not worse. Just different, okay? Now, are you all familiar with Bob Marley? Bob Marley, okay, so Bob Marley speaks a dialect of English that they speak in Jamaica called patois, right? It's patois. So like, but my mom's really acclimatized to Canadian living, right? So if somebody calls the phone, she'll be like, hello, you've reached the Jones residence, can I help you? But if somebody from Jamaica, and we call Jamaica Yad, so if you say if somebody called from Yad, that means they're calling from home. So if somebody calls from Yad, my mom totally shifted up her demeanor, right? She'd be like, hello, Yo, who are going, Bridget? Everything blessed? How you doing? You good? And like the patois starts coming out, right? So my Jamaican mother was obviously constantly upset when I was getting phone calls home. I'm fighting at school, and I said, listen, Mom, people are trying to test me. I was born in Toronto, lived most of my life in Mississauga, but for a 10-year window, I lived in Oakville during the late 80s and the early 90s. And when I was living there wasn't many people that looked like me. So I experienced a lot of prejudice, a lot of racism, a lot of bullying, right? So I was like, what? I'm supposed to just be walked over and stuff? But she's like, no, but you're messing up your future and all of these things. And then one fateful day, I was sitting in science class where I should have been paying attention, but be honest, who daydreams in meetings or in class? I know school just started, but you daydream, right? We thinking about like them summer days and stuff like that. So I started daydreaming, and all of a sudden I'm like, I'm gonna be a hip hop MC. Now friends, since my poetry book had got thrown away, the only thing I did was give trouble. So this was like a big deal to me. I was like, I thought it was like a brand new idea. So I pull out my sheet of paper in class and I start writing. I'm like, I'm loving what I'm writing. You know when you're like feeling it? Y'all are writers, right? Like, you know when that pen hits you and you're just like, yeah, that's that good, right? So I'm like writing that good, and I'm feeling so good. So I want to disturb everybody now. So I'm turning to the girl beside me. I'm like, hey, you gotta check this out. So I slide my piece of paper over to her. I'm waiting for her reaction because I know she's gonna love it, right? She's reading it, then she's like, it's all right. I was all offended, like, yo, give me that back. There's some Grammy award winning lyrics right there, some Juno stuff right there. But something amazing happened for me on that day. On that day, I finally made the connection as to why writing had always been a part of my life. I didn't realize that for me, it was a safe space. It was a place where I could create and pretend without judgment. And when I made that connection, I have not looked back since, friends. And that's what brings me in front of you today. But a lot of the work that I'm about is all about community. Everyone say community. Community. And we can't even spell the word community without U-N-I-T-Y. What does that spell? And unity means working too? Yeah. Okay, can we be real? Is it always easy to work together? No. Do we like the people all the time we have to work with? Do we even agree? No. But guess what? Even though we may disagree, what I have found is if we have respect and we start with love, anything is possible. So one thing that we do every year at Peace is we have a brand new theme for the whole year. So our theme for this year is start with love and the rest will follow. Start with what? Love. Start with love. Why? Because I believe love is the highest frequency on the planet. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that as we get into things. But I want to share a piece with you. I wrote many years ago. I have a not-for-profit background that I was sharing with some of you as we were conversing. I used to work for an organization called Unity Charity. Has anybody heard of Unity Charity before? So basically, it's a hip-hop based charity. The gentleman that founded it, his name was Michael Prosserman, and he was a breakdancer, an amazing breakdancer, and he used breakdancing as a way to deal with some of his mental health challenges. So at his local school, he put together some presentations, but then when he graduated, the family was like, are you joining the family business? He's like, nah, I'm gonna start this charity called Unity, and I'm gonna take artists all across the country using arts as a way to express your stress and develop skills for success. So I had a very powerful experience working with Unity. I traveled all across Canada. I've been as far north as you can go as a civilian. The only place further north that you can go is to Alert, which is for military personnel. I got a certificate that I went to the Arctic Circle, right? And that was through some of my work at Unity. But this piece I want to share with you, I wrote when I was working for Unity many years ago, but I think you'll get why I want to share it with you all. And it's simply entitled Community. I come from a city that be mad diverse, and everywhere that you turn, someone's putting in work. Beautiful cultures, bringing out the flavor and worth, and every link is important from the last to the first. Nations, always great when many children playing, smiles on their faces feeling like a flag waving and free. Whether you be from over the seas, you could access many opportunities. It's in reach. And if not, we making a plan. So each one, teach one while we lending a hand. It's more than hip hop or music. It's more than just art. When it comes from your heart, that means you're playing your part. It's best to give back, a great way to keep it intact. I said that, but really though, I'm trying to live it in fact. Because what's the use of saying words if they're not backed with an act? So what I'm really trying to do is keep my train on track. Because the U is for the ultimate, and it's for right now. I is for intelligence, properly thought out. The T for the truth, you dig? Get the scoop. The Y for the youth, the unity tree roots. I said U is for the ultimate, and it's for right now. I is for intelligence, properly thought out. The T for the truth, you dig? Get the scoop. The Y is for the youth, the unity tree roots. Thank you so much, everyone. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Thank you, thank you. Okay, Nick, like, I'm notorious for watching the clock. How are we doing for time? We're good? Like,
it's 5 after 8.
how much time do I got?
Like, kind of however much you want. Like, about half an hour.
Beautiful. Love it. Okay, friends. Now, I just have the visuals back here. Just for visual sake, it's not a make or break, you know. Usually I project bigger, but it's okay. Don't feel like you have to stare at the screen. But I shared with you all about what our overall theme is. And I do a lot of work in the school boards. I work with like JK right through adults. Actually, super cool. I was in Thunder Bay 3 weeks ago, and I had a man that was 99 in my workshop. And I'm talking like functional. He was writing. It was a creative writing session with seniors. I partnered with an organization called Applaud, formerly the Quarter Century Club. Don't know if any of you are familiar with them. Basically what they do is they acknowledge people in the public services. And so when I went through the very rigorous gauntlet of interviews to become Ontario's Poet Laureate, one of the questions they asked was, Matthew, we love the work that you do with youth, but how are you going to engage an older population? So I partnered with Applaud, and Thunder Bay was the first of a series of tours that we're doing. Next month, I'll be with them in Kingston, still working with seniors or those close to retirement. And then actually, we'll be back in Kitchener for another event in November. So that's really, really cool. But like every year, the theme doesn't change. Why? Because there's a foundational principle that we lock everything in. Now, usually I start here with my talks, but you all were already exuding this thing right here. Because there's only one thing I usually ask for from people in a space before we get going. And that one thing is summarized in one word that speaks to the way that I'm gonna treat you and the way that I hope you would treat me. Can anybody think of one word that would sum that up? Give you a hint, starts with the letter R. Respect. Say it out, everyone. Respect. So we were already there. Usually I got to make sure we ground people. But the moment I walked in this space, there's something good about this space right here. I'm a big energy person. I'm not talking like cards and gems and stuff. I like that stuff. But just like there's a vibration that comes from being with people, right? Nobody wants to go back to COVID and lockdown, right? We're tired of staying inside. I want to be outside, you know what I'm saying? Right? I enjoy this weather. But respect to me is a foundation. Because I've never met anybody that wants to be disrespected. Sure, we might disagree. We might even argue. But if we still have respect, we can still move forward and build powerful communities. So that's something that's very important to me. And I believe gratitude is the best attitude. What did I say?
Gratitude is the best attitude.
Oh, and I am so very grateful for you because I realize in life there's 2 things we never get back. How many things?
2.
How many things?
2.
The words that you say, and listen to me carefully. I know y'all are some writers. I pick my language very specifically. And the way that you spend your time. Time is currency. That's the most valuable thing. We'll never get this Friday evening back. And the memories will be etched forever. And I'm so pleased that we can join together. But for me, before I can move forward from this slide, I need to hear from at least 3 people about what you're grateful for today, or else we can't move forward. We cultivate an attitude of gratitude. So who's going to talk to me? Not everybody all at once. It's hard when the hands are up. We got one right here.
Beautiful weather.
Beautiful weather. Everybody snap up for the beautiful weather. Absolutely. Okay, let's get another one. Let's get another one. Somebody give it to me right here. Okay, here we go.
Family.
Family. Snaps up for family. Beautiful. Okay, we need one more. We need one more. Right over here.
Friends.
Friends. What would life be without our friends? Friends. How many of us have the... Okay, that one's too old for you. Don't worry. We gonna work on that one. We're going to work on that one, right? I already spoke to you about this, the idea that no matter where I go, I have one goal. Everybody hold up your one. One goal. And that's to try and create a stronger sense of community. Because teamwork makes the... Teamwork makes the... And I know we got some powerful dreamers in this space. I know that. I could feel it. I could sense that. Right? So it's all about how can we create a better sense of community. So we already talked a little bit about myself as Poet Laureate, but very often people be like, congratulations. What on earth is a Poet Laureate? So I'll say, okay, all right, let me tell you a little bit. As Poet Laureate, part of my work is I'm meant to travel around and promote literary arts. I'm meant to throw events. I'm meant to go to schools and talk about the power of words. And I'm also meant to put on events where I elevate the voice of other poets. I was mentioning to Nick that part of what I sold them on during my interviews was the idea that I was born in the GTA. I love the GTA, but Ontario is massive. And do you love stories? I love stories. Like, stories live a lot longer than we do. And I believe there's a lot of rich stories to be told here in Ontario. Super cool experience. One of the coolest things about being the Poet Laureate is that it brings me into a lot of spaces that I necessarily haven't really been navigating in. So a couple of weeks ago, I got a call from the Ontario Archive. And they're like, come on down, come see the space at York University there. And I was like, all right, cool. So I went there. They're working on a new Black Studies exhibit that is going to replace their long-standing exhibit that's been there. So they were walking through there, showing me some of the things of some powerful people through Black history. Like, I don't know how many of you are familiar with Mary Ann Shadd, that started the first journal as a Black woman. I believe in North America, but Canada for sure. And they actually have some of her work. So you got to put the gloves on. They take out the file folder, open it carefully, and they handed me these documents. And I saw the mindset of people from the 1800s, specifically Black people living in Southern Ontario. I saw pictures of people wearing their Sunday best, proud, tall, that defies the narrative of some people that look like that. So it's really, really cool. I get to meet a lot of cool people in this space. I also connected with the Gatehouse. Is anybody familiar with the Gatehouse? Based out of Lakeshore there. What's the campus down there? Humber, thank you. Humber Lakeshore campus. I met the professor who used to work at Humber and founded a space called Gatehouse because he taught a course on poetry where they use poetry very specifically as a way to heal trauma. Anybody ever got some healing from their writing? Listen, those words have saved my life. And it was so interesting. I started talking to this gentleman, and very specifically, a lot of his work was around childhood sexual trauma, but using poetry as a healing mechanism. So he founded the Gatehouse and also something called the Global Poetry Movement, where they collect poems from all around the world of people that have overcome this childhood sexual abuse and trauma through poetry, storytelling, and the arts. I've never heard of their work. This was up the street from where I grew up in Mississauga. So it's so cool to connect with these people, and then a really cool experience happened that day. I went to they kind of took over like a little house that was on the Humber property, and so they invited me there. So I went in there, and as soon as I walked in, I was like, some really powerful energy in here. And the guy perks up and he says, I can't believe you said that. I said, why? He says, I tell people every time they come here, before they leave, to rub their hands on the wall because they're leaving their energy in here. And I'm like, well, it's definitely in here. So then we hung out, showed me the different spaces, and then they were having a board meeting because they invited me to collaborate in a book that I believe they're trying to get published. They're looking for a publisher right now, but I believe it's trying to come out next year. So they asked me to write part of the foreword to it, and I submitted a piece, but they were having a little board meeting. And so I met all of the board meetings. We all took a picture afterwards, and people were just saying, oh yeah, you know, I live in Oakville. I was like, oh, I used to live in Oakville. Yeah, like 10 years ago. And this lady's like, yeah, I used to live in Oakville. And then she's like, yeah, she said the name of a street, Callahan Crescent. I said, I lived on Callahan Crescent for 10 years, 305. She goes, 308. I said, your family is the Phillips family. I used to go there all the time. and the connections that you never know, right? I spend my time traveling. I have a goal of seeing all 7 continents. There's only one continent my feet have not touched yet. Which one do you think it is? Antarctica. But my mom and I made a pact when we went to Egypt, Israel, and Palestine that we're gonna accomplish our goal together. So our plan is to go all the way to the southern tip of Argentina, get on one of the ships, and then make our way so we can accomplish our lifelong goal, right? But I love to travel. Lost my train of thought. What did I say right before that? Oh man, I'm trying to pack in all the goodies, you know what I'm saying? Anyhow. Exactly. And then here's the craziest thing about it. That lady, her family had lived across the street from me the whole time. I had just, after about 2 years, messaged her nephew the day before. So much so I had to open my phone and be like, this is uncanny. I literally, and she's like, wow. You know, so it's bringing me into all these spaces that are foreign yet familiar. And it's really, really cool to see a lot of the work that people are doing with the power of words. So I have a short 2-year term. My term is already at a year in November, but I promise you, in the short time that I have, I'm gonna do my best to raise the voices of others. So it's a great honor to serve as Poet Laureate. But wait, there's more, and I already told you about this. I'm a volunteer. I already told you what I was doing today. That piece was inspired after I went out and volunteered, right? But wait, there's more. I'm also a certified hip hop cultural specialist. Now, you might not see this very well, but this is my mentor and direct friend and founder of something called the Temple of Hip Hop. He's an old school rapper from the 80s and the founder of the Stop the Violence movement. His name is Christopher Parker, also known as KRS-One. Whoop, whoop. That's the sound of the police. Whoop, whoop. That's the sound of the beast. If you know that, for me, and this is just in my opinion, okay, even though it's on record, like, you know, don't hold me. This is just my opinion, just Testament's opinion. Next to God, hip hop is the most powerful force on the face of the earth. And I see it impact communities all over the world. So a lot of the work that I do is not only about the power of words and writing and language, but also using the power of the hip hop arts. Because a lot of people don't know that hip hop was born on 4 core principles. How many? 4. Peace. Love, unity, safely having fun. Yeah. And did you know that it was 9 and 10-year-old children that created hip hop? Yeah, it was the young people, because hip hop was born in New York City, in a place specifically called the Bronx. And the Bronx was a very dangerous place in the late 60s, early 70s, coming out of the civil rights movement, right? Malcolm X, Dr. King, the Black Panther Party, of whom I'm wearing a member today. This is Fred Hampton. He ran the Chicago chapter of the Black Panther Party, and he was assassinated by the police. Or the way they phrased it is he died in a shootout with the police. But this was a brilliant young man. Now, I know that as many things in history, the people try to sort of, demonize the Black Panther Party. But what I focus on them about is what they do for their community. What they do in their community, right? And I'm very, very inspired. And at the Temple of Hip Hop, we are actually a continuation of the civil rights movement. When I went to New York last summer, I went to get my certified hip hop cultural specialist certificate. I am certified by the Temple of Hip Hop to teach on not only the origins of hip hop, but how we can preserve this culture. We consider ourselves a mass, a ministry, archive, school, and society. And it's all about how do we preserve peace, love, unity, and safely having fun. Now, most people, when they think of hip hop, they think about music. And frankly, a lot of the things we hear on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, and social media, I come before you as a representative of the Temple of Hip Hop and tell you that they are lying. We do not stand for violence in any community. We do not promote or endorse music that is trying to turn our young people into drug addicts. I grew up for 10 years in Oakville, and I can count off the top of my head more than 10 people that I know that passed away from drug overdoses. Believe me, Oakville will be studied in the future for the heroin and cocaine epidemic in that community. I cannot represent something that is tearing apart the fabric of our community. So I feel like a torchbearer carry on the legacy of mentors like KRS-One and the Stop the Violence movement, what we call edutainment. We believe that you could still be entertained and groove and move, but it doesn't have to be at the sacrifice of your mind. Words, power, sound. I believe words are powerful. Now, anybody know who this handsome gentleman is? Anybody know who this is? This is Nelson Mandela, for those of you that don't know. And Nelson Mandela was the former president of South Africa. But like, how many of you would agree with me? Nelson got a nice smile. Anybody agree with me? You got a real nice smile, like a lot of you in here. But a lot of people don't know that Nelson Mandela spent 27 years in prison. Friends, can I be honest with you? If I had to spend one night in prison, I don't know if I'd be able to smile like this, okay? Right? And so I used to work in healthcare, actually. I worked at the Trillium Healthcare Center in Mississauga for 12 years. I started when I was 18 and I worked to 30. What I really liked about working at Trillium is I worked in nutrition food services, but because they're a learning hospital, you can get learning and training in areas that are not necessarily your direct job. My mom had been a nurse for 30 plus years and she said, Matthew, make sure you capitalize on the learning opportunities there. So I did. And I got courses in Word. I became the vice president of the staff council. I became the president of the council. I cut and spoke at the ribbon ceremony. And they even shot a music video for me. All while I was just working in nutrition food services. But I bring that up because one day I was going to work and I was just like all up in my feelings. Am I the only one that gets all up in my feelings? Somebody put their hand up, help me out, please. Anybody? Okay, thank you. I'm not the only one. So like on this particular day, I was like all up in my feelings. All the feels were going on. And like, I can't even remember what I was feeling. All I know, I was energetically low. And like, you know when you get low, you actually hunch your shoulders? I don't know what it was. Like I was hunched over and I was just like walking like this, not paying attention. And I turned the corner and I almost knocked somebody over. But when I looked up, instead of getting angry, all the person did was smile at me. And because smiles are contagious, I smiled back. And in that moment, I felt better. And I actually had a powerful day. So I like to challenge people that yes, of course, we want to see massive changes in our community, but sometimes it could be something as simple as a smile, a little head nod, a little fist bump, a little high five. Let's practice that right now. Everybody turn to somebody, give them a high five and say you're awesome. If you're comfortable with it. I know not everybody likes it. Nick, you're awesome. You're awesome. You're awesome. You're awesome. My front row's awesome. You're awesome. You're awesome. Listen, sometimes that's all it takes because you know how many people move day to day through life without being acknowledged? Acknowledged. I work with a lot of high school students. I have 2 teenagers myself. Next year I'm going to have 3 teenagers. I can't even believe this. And we all know that, you know, high school is like a big identity crisis time. You're really trying to like find yourself, you know? And I plant the seed in the young people's minds that like sometimes all it is just like a check-in text. I didn't see you at school today. You good? I have a small circle of friends, but if a couple of days pass by, somebody's gonna drop in the chat like, hey, are you okay? How you feeling today? Because I feel like sometimes the exchanges we have are so artificial. Hey, how you doing? But I'm walking away and I'm around the corner already because of some formality. No, like I actually want to know, are you okay? No? What do you need? You need to chat for 5 minutes? The ways that we can support each other go far beyond some of the bigger things that need. Let's just start in our community and keep it moving like that. So this is a really, really important thing to me. But Nelson Mandela has something important to say to us today. I love this. Listen carefully. Everyone can rise above their circumstances and achieve their success if they are dedicated to and passionate about what they do. Don't miss the language. Everyone can rise above their circumstances. Friends, what's a circumstance? That's a challenge. That's an obstacle. That's a trial. And I would love to say that life gets easier. But what happens is we get more resilient. We get stronger, right? It's like going to the gym. If I'm only lifting that 5 pounds every day, eventually I'm gonna need some resistance. And isn't it funny how life seems to give you the resistance just at the time when you thought you were getting into a groove spot? Man. But words are such a powerful way of conveying these ideas. And we already talked about the two things we never get back. And Nelson's talking to it right now. He says, if you are dedicated to, that speaks to the time that we put into things. And passionate about what you do. My passion might not be your passion. Very often I go to classes and I'm taking over a class. And then I'm like, okay, we're going to do some writing. And they're like, ah. You're taking over my gym class today. You're taking over my art class today. And so I approach it from an angle and I really try and just like perk them up on the power of words. How many people agree with me that words are powerful? Why are words powerful? I want to hear from somebody that I haven't heard from yet. Y'all been giving me great vibes, but I want to hear, why are words powerful for you? Share your voice in this space if you're comfortable. Why are words powerful?
Because that's the only way we have of sharing our thoughts.
Only way that we have of sharing our thoughts. Snaps up for that. Snaps up for that. Perfect. Can we get another one? Why are words powerful? Why are words powerful?
They can change.
They can change you. Absolutely. Snaps up. I love that. I feel like there's one more. Here we go. Can make you think. Absolutely. Yeah. Change your perspective, right? Snaps up. Snaps up. I truly believe that words are powerful. And I'm just trying to find my right slide right here. Okay, I know it's really small, but what do you see on the screen there? What is that? Sword, okay, right? It's a sword, okay? Now, 99.9% of the time I get the same answer. What do swords do? Cut, stab, hurt, kill, chop, so on and so forth. But, friends, on the opposite side of all of those things that we just listed, what else can swords do? What else can they do? They can protect. They can defend. And our words are just like swords. I'm a word person, so like I play the Scrabble, bananagrams, like I geek out. Oh my goodness, look at the way they use the language on the page. Like I love this, right? So you gotta bear with me for a second. Follow me, look at this. W-O-R-D-S, words. What if you took the S and moved it to the front? What would it spell? What would it spell? Oh my goodness, our words are just like swords. But like, am I the only one that is guilty of using my words to hurt somebody else? And on the other hand, am I the only one that's been hurt by somebody's words? Words are powerful. They're just like swords. And I challenge people to think about their language differently. How many of you practice affirmations? Hands up, who practices affirmations? All these writers in here, no affirmation practicers? Well, just so we're all clear, an affirmation is a positive statement that you can say out loud or declare something that you want for yourself or something that you want to manifest. Now, just in my opinion, two of the most powerful words in the English language are I am. What are they? I am. Now, friends, I know you're thinking in your mind, you're like, Testament, I can think of some more powerful words. It's not so much about the I and the am as it is about what you get to say after it. I am powerful. I am gentle. I am kind. I don't know what it is for you, but I'm going to pause for 20 seconds and I want you to think about what is one of the first things, positive only, okay, we checked our negativity at the door, okay, right? First positive thing that would come to your mind that you would say about yourself after the I am. Take 20 seconds, think about it, and when you're ready, I want you to share that with somebody beside you, then we're going to come back together. 20 seconds, go ahead, think about it. One of the first positive things you would say after the I am. What would you say after the I am? Okay, share it with somebody, tell somebody, share it. Don't whisper that though. Say it like you believe it now. Say it like you believe it now. Oh, I love the chatter. I see the smiles. I like the giggles. Okay, now, on the count of 3, you're going to say it out loud. We're all going to say it out loud together, okay? But like, I want you to hit that from the diaphragm though, okay? All right? If you need a snack before we start, I'll pause. All right, on the count of 3, we're going to say this together. Ready? You're going to say I am and then whatever you say, okay? Ready? Here we go. 1, 2, 3. I am powerful. No, back to the top, back to the top, back to the top, back to the top. Yeah. Turn to somebody and say, we need your energy. We need your energy. We need your energy. Okay, we're going to try this again. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. I am powerful. If you don't take anything away from what I've said to you today, I want you to know you are what you say you are. You are what you say you are. Did you know that our brains actually can't tell the difference between something imagined or something real? So if you say something to yourself like, I'm so stupid, your brain goes into a mode to try and prove what you just said. Words are powerful. They're just like swords. Not only the words that we say to people and people say to us, but the most important words are the words that we say to ourselves. Anybody ever wish they could turn that voice in their head off? Like, there you go with a great idea, then all of a sudden a voice in your head goes, you can't do that. You failed. You already tried that. Anybody wish they could ever turn that off? I wish I had like a remote, like, stop talking to me. But we can't turn it off. But we can actually use language to reprogram our minds. And this is why affirmations are so powerful. I have a lot of mentors in my life. I've shown you some of them. I have volunteer mentors. I have hip hop mentors. I have poet mentors. But all of my mentors tell me the same thing. You are what you say you are. And practicing to say positive things to ourselves, I promise you, will shift your life. So I got a little bit of a challenge for you. Everybody go like this. Go, ooh. Yeah. Okay, here's the challenge. This is a challenge that nobody's going to follow up with. This is a personal challenge only for those that are willing to take it on, okay? Here's the challenge. For a minimum of 5 days. How many days? 5. Twice a day. How many times? Twice. I challenge you to say your I am statement out loud to yourself. For a minimum of 5 days, twice a day, I challenge you to say out loud your positive I am affirmation to yourself. Why? Everything is created in language. You are what you say you are. Your words are powerful. You can use your words to create your reality. You are powerful. Okay? Now, we're going to maximize our time together because, like, for me, I don't know about you, but like life gets stressful. Yes or yes? Life gets stressful? Yes or yes? And like one of the things that's really, really hard to find, would you be honest with me, is balance. Balance between work life, creative life, taking my children places, trying to be in a relationship, living up to the mandates that we have. But what is most important is balance. Anybody ever been on a plane before? Yeah. So, like, what do they tell you that in case of an emergency and the airbag happens to come down, what do they tell you is the first thing that you got to do? Put it on yourself. You got to put it on yourself. As much as I'm worried about my children beside me, I am no help to them passed out on the floor. So it is mandatory that for whatever way you show up in the world, you got to take that time for yourself. Now, I understand we all have different levels of commitment. But I told you, I drove here, it took me about just over an hour, and I drove in silence because inside of my car, I spent a lot of time in there. And as much as I love music, sometimes music's a distraction for me. So I take that time. Maybe for you, it's 5 minutes in the morning before the kids and the family wake up when it's silent, where you can just give your petition for the day. Maybe you need to go to the bag at the gym and hit the bag, or you run or you jog or whatever it may be. Malcolm X had a saying. He said, by all means necessary. Over COVID, I came up with, I'm going to protect my mental health and well-being by all means necessary. Oh, yes. So guess what? That means putting down the social media sometimes. Yeah. Usually when I'm with young people, you hear a collective groan and a rolling of the eyes. Like, yeah, right. I'd be like, I grew up in a time where there was no internet. My kids are always like, okay. I have nothing to relate to. I woke up in the internet, you know what I'm saying? But I find, and I can only speak for myself, even as a conscious person, sometimes with that scrolling, we're comparing people to ourselves. Oh man, they're vacationing again. Oh, they got this, or they're with this, or they're there and that. But there is nobody like you. What did I say?
Nobody like you.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate you. No. Some of y'all don't believe this. So very quickly, look at your hands real quick. But like, I want you to look at it like it's the first time you've seen your hand. Okay, you're interacting with your hand, and like, the tips of your fingers are what we call fingerprints. Did you know that on a planet with over 8 billion people, no two people have the same set of fingerprints? Now listen, I don't know what your belief system is. I believe in a creator, and I believe that even from our fingerprints, the creator is saying, leave your individual mark on the planet. No one is like you. Nobody thinks like you. But if you don't believe it, how is anybody else gonna believe it? So that journaling, it doesn't always have to be poetry or a performance. Sometimes that performance is so I could get through the day. And then I rip it into a million pieces. Or I burn it. Has anybody done the burning activity? Yeah, powerful ceremony, right? I got to work with a lot of indigenous communities. And, you know, I love their connectivity to the land. And sometimes it's something so simple. I love how they greet the sun as brother sun and mother moon, and the plants are brothers and sisters. The more we take time to connect and reflect, the more balance we have in our life. Those things will get done. The chaos is going to keep going. But whatever helps you feel peaceful, centered, grounded, make sure you make those things a priority in your life, right? But sometimes we know that we don't have time for all of that. And the only thing that you can do is take a big deep breath, right? Right. So let's do that together right now. I want us to take some deep breaths together. Everybody inhale and exhale. Yeah, okay, yeah, there should be a sound with it. Let all of that out. Whatever is in there, it might make some noise. In again. And exhale. Sometimes a pause is all we need. In the midst of the chaos. I think about so many young people, myself included, that it was an impulse moment that had lasting impact if I had just taken a pause. I actually heard something really interesting that I'd never heard the other day. There was a gentleman, his name's Nuri Muhammad, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. And he was talking about a lesson that he learned through the Nation of Islam. And he said that the Honorable Prophet Elijah Muhammad gave them a suggestion. That if you're gonna say something, think about it 5 times. So like, I'm gonna say something to you, and then I'm gonna pause and be like, okay, yeah, maybe no, I shouldn't. That's time 1. Okay, maybe I actually don't even want to say that. That's time 2. And by the time you get to the 5th time, the emotion is taken out of it and you actually open channel for communication. And I never thought of it that way, right? If we could just practice some temperance. I know, as much as I'm up here leading this session, I wish I could tell you I was perfect with my tongue. I have cut many people with my words. But my intention is to be a better version of myself. Anybody want to be a better version of themselves? I'm trying to learn and grow every day. Trying to level up. Some days I fail. But we out here still trying. Do your best and leave the rest. That's what my mama told me, right? So this is what I really try and lock in and focus. How we doing for time over there? How we looking?
We can move to questions soon.
Perfect. Yeah. I'll start wrapping it up. And then, I would absolutely love to take some questions. So I'm going to close with this. 5 very simple ways to well-being. There's a lot of different ones. These are just 5 very simple things that have bared massive fruit in my life, and I love to share them in the spaces that I go. So the first one is, up here it says, to connect. Just like we're doing face-to-face. There's nothing like face-to-face connection. Here's a really cool fact for you. There was a guy, I can't remember his name, but he's the one that came up with what we call Kirlian photography, which photographs the aura around your body. The average distance between people's auras is 6 feet. During COVID, how far did they want you to stand apart? So not only were we physically separated, we weren't even in each other's aura. Just a little something for you to think about, right? Connect with people. There's nothing like looking into somebody's face. Sure, we do it on the screen. I love to be able to connect with my friends in Europe and Africa and Asia, but there's nothing like sitting around a table, sip some tea together, break bread. Take that time to connect. And those of you that are parents, like sometimes I literally take this thing and I put it away. And my children might not say that they appreciated that, but I could give them all the presents, all the great vacations. They love the vacation, right? But what they really want is my time. Undistracted time. Did you know that multitasking is an illusion? It's been scientifically proven that taking one thing at a time is way more productive. But our lives just can't do that because I gotta be cooking and I gotta be tidying up over here and I'm answering emails while listening to a podcast, right? We do this. It happens all the time. But take time to connect, no matter how brief it may be. Just like that smile, that high five, it can go a long way. The next thing it says here, it says be active. Listen, I was born and raised in Canada. I'm a tropical soul. Anybody with me? Rather sweat than freeze? Yeah, that's me. So if it's above 10 degrees, then I'm outside. Beneath that, I'm hibernating, right? But I love being outside. Now, I love basketball. I like to go to the gym. But even a 10-minute walk after dinner, after work, whenever you can get it in, has been scientifically proven to not only improve mental health and well-being, but cardiovascular strength. Keep those hearts pumping that blood through your body so we can enjoy more of life. In here in the green, it says take notice. This is another opportunity to put this down. Did you know we have more accidents nowadays with people walking like this? Not paying attention to things. Pay attention to your scenery. We were talking about forest bathing. And when I first heard about forest bathing, which is like a principle that started in Asia, it should take you about 30 minutes to walk a kilometer, to really soak it in, so you could take notice of the things around you. Listen to the close sounds and the distant sounds. There's always so much going on, and it doesn't always have to be here. The feed, you can catch up. The Netflix series, you can catch up. But some of this stuff, there's a new sunset every day. There's something that we can take notice of. We're almost there. The last one is learn something every day, whether it's somebody's name. You know, like I can't speak for everyone, but I know some of the fellas I hang out with, like, we'll talk to guys for like 6 months and not know their name. You know what I'm saying? Like we'll hang out, you'll see them, hey, what's going on? You have no idea what their name is and stuff like that. So even if you're just learning somebody's name, what a powerful way to learn. And also now we got things like ChatGPT. So I tell my children all the time, don't just use ChatGPT to do your homework. I'm a grade 12 student. I need to make some money on the side. Give me 30 possible ways. Now, you might not like 29 of them, but one, that might be your entrepreneurial venture. I'm trying to plant the entrepreneurial spirit into all of my children. Even my youngest daughter, I challenge them all. Before they finish high school, I'm going to help them register a business. Get the career. Do that if you want to. But also, don't be afraid to try your ideas. Why not you? Why not you? I recently did an interview with Dwayne Morgan. Are you all familiar with Dwayne? Recently got inducted into the Ontario, help me here. The Order of Ontario. Yeah. He got inducted into the Order of Ontario. And I did an interview with him, the Poet Laureate of Barrie, and I was telling him about how the process of a Poet Laureate came up for me, because I was sharing with some of you, like, I've never promoted in my whole life. Word of mouth is my best friend. I'm that type of person. I've been doing the community work. You come to the community, you'll see me. I'm everywhere. If people need to see that, that's their business. But one day, a friend of mine sent me a LinkedIn posting, and he said, Testament, this sounds like you. And I read the posting, and I was like, I do this every day. So I decided to apply. I put that in there. Never before had I sought recognition for the things that I do. But through the process, whether I got this great honor or not, I made a decision. I said, you know what? I've been putting in the work. If there's acknowledgement for something that I've already done, like, why not me? And I said, you know what? I'm going to put my best foot forward whether I get this or not. And I mentioned that, and Dwayne talked about during his ceremony, he also talked about that. He felt a little bit overwhelmed, like, oh my goodness, is this happening? And then he remembered, yeah, like, why not me? Why not you? Take that time to learn those things. Put the time in. Be passionate. You can achieve anything. And the last thing I want to leave you with, 5 ways to well-being, is to give. Now, often when we say give, people immediately think monetary things. If you got the resources, share them. But sometimes I know all my kids want me to do is listen. Sometimes people just want you to check on them. Sometimes people just want support or acknowledgement. So thank you so very much for opening up this gorgeous space, but more importantly, your energy, your time, and your ideas for me to share just a little bit about why it is an honor to carry the torch as your Ontario Poet Laureate all the way into 2026. And if there's any way that I can support your work, please make sure you hit up your boy. I want to see you at my event, September 27th. If you want my contact, you can get that, but we still have some time. If you have any questions about anything, doesn't have to be about anything that I said. If there's anything you want to know about me, share with me, try on some hats, whatever you want, by all means, let me know. But I want to thank you all very much. Snaps up for yourselves. Snaps up for yourselves. I appreciate you all. I appreciate you all. Anything on your mind, anything at all that you would love to know, no matter what it is.
I have a planned question, but we've only got time for 1 or 2 questions, so I want to let everyone else think on it. Just pretend I've asked the first one to break the ice so that you feel comfortable asking yours. Okay. We've heard so much about your hip-hop influences and your community influences, and it's amazing to see how all of those things come together and form who you are as an artistic person. Who would you say are some of your biggest mentors or influences in specifically poetry?
Are you all familiar with somebody by the name of Britta B?
Yes.
I call her Britta Brilliance. That's my very, very close friend. She's actually performing on September 27th at my event at the Living Arts Center. Not only is she a poet in the community that I absolutely love her work, but she's somebody that I really, really have a lot of gratitude for. And I look at her as a mentor because, you know, sometimes like people have resources and they want to keep it to themselves. Britta's not that type of person. She'll be like, Testament, you need to apply for this. Oh, there's this new grant open. Oh, there's this cool opportunity. All kind of things. She loves to share resources, and I'm so grateful for it because it's brought great experiences into my life. Like I got to work with like the Power Plant Youth Program she put onto my radar. I did that for a few years in different communities, but we really got to know each other when I was working for Unity Charity. My last role that I had with them, I was the director of our national program, so I had to manage all of our national tours as well as scale us, and we did a lot of work in northern Alberta and Fort Chipewyan. So it was actually in Fort Chipewyan, 3-member team, we're snowed in, we can't leave the community, and we really got to know each other on a next level. So like Britta B, I have like the utmost respect for. Also Patrick DeBellin, you know, Patrick is super dope. I haven't got to spend a lot of time with him, but we navigate a lot of the spaces. He does a lot of school stuff like that. So I see him in passing, like, oh my gosh, your keynote was awesome, your workshop was awesome, we like that. A lot of respect for what he does, especially, you know, he's been doing a lot of work around grief recently. At the beginning of last year, one of my friends from high school that I knew since I was 14, she passed away around the same time that I put in my application for the Poet Laureate. And I'm the type of person, like, as you can tell, like I got a positive energy, and I'm like, I don't want no negativity. So like, I'll do whatever I need. I'll go to the water, I'll run, I'll do this. But then I realize when it comes to grief, sometimes you actually have to sit with it. You know? Are you all familiar with Louise Hay from Hay House? I was listening to Louise Hay and she said something that blew my mind. And she's like, you know, when these challenging emotions and things come to us, what if we greeted them like a long, faithful friend? Like, my faithful friend, grief, what have you come to teach me? Let it come so that it can pass. And I really embraced that, and it taught me a lot. So I really respect the work that Patrick is doing around a lot of that stuff, you know? Of course, Dwayne Morgan, huge mentor in the community. We call him the godfather of spoken word with his Up From the Roots programming and stuff. Actually, he's celebrating 32 years in poetry. Yeah, this year. So I'm doing 2 of his events, one in October, another one in November. Powerful. And Lillian Allen, we're doing a big event for her coming up on October 3rd. I just got added to the list, so I'll be performing to honor the legendary dub poet in the community. And I'll give you one more, honestly, Randell, who was the very first poet laureate that founded Rise. I knew Randell way before Rise. And there's a lot of people that have different things to say about him. This is a brother. It's one of the hardest working people I've ever seen, with one of the biggest hearts for community and people. He's such a great inspiration for me. Yeah. Anything at all. Where I got my ring, you know what I'm saying? Anything. What you got?
Jamaican patois ever come into your spoken word?
Absolutely. It does. Depending on the environment, right? But absolutely, it heavily colors the work that I do. Over COVID, it didn't get released, but I recorded a whole album based on my love of dub music. And at my event on September 23rd, the whole theme is actually, on September 27th, is Red, Gold, and Green. And it's really a celebration of hip hop and poetry through my love for reggae roots. So yeah, it shows up in a lot of my work. I'm hoping, so I just put in a grant this week for the Ontario Arts Council. I really hope that I get it. It's to write my very first collection. And my collection is what I call, you know, my story via psalms, poems about nature, love, life, and grief, you know? And my roots is a very, very big part of me, you know? It shaped me a lot. I spent a lot of time in Jamaica as a youngster, and my mom still has a house there. So absolutely. Yeah, I'm looking forward to bringing more of that to the forefront. Actually, on my way here, as I was thinking about Lillian Allen's event, her being a dub poet, I was practicing a piece I think I might do at her event. So, yeah. It's gonna be at the Archives downtown, if anybody's interested. I don't know if it's open invite, but y'all seem like you know some people who if you wanna be in the spot, you could pull up, right? You could pull up, it will be a good time. Thank you so much for your question. Appreciate you. Anything else? Anything at all. Anything at all.
I hate being the person that's not a question or comment, but it's kind of a comment. So I was a single mother for quite a long time. I have 2 boys.
Okay.
And when you were reflecting on words and how it helped you overcome challenges, it really made me reflect on my sons as well. And I do recall when my oldest was in grade 10, he and his friends started writing rap.
Okay.
Which was poems to each other. But
Rap is poetry.
Yeah, rhythm and poetry. They called it rap because it was a way for them to feel more comfortable doing that.
Right.
And he would, because I'm a poet, he would come home and like share them with me and say, Mom, there's going to be swears in there, but you can't get mad at me because it's a part of my art. And it's rap.
Yeah.
It became
I love
this
that.
like really beautiful experience that we got to share. So
That's powerful.
I just wanted to share that with
Thank you for that.
It meant a lot to me.
Thank you for sharing that. Oh man, I love that, right? There's real power in that, and healing and liberation. I felt that. Yeah, thank you for sharing that. Awesome. Well, thank you everyone. Appreciate you. Awesome.
I'm just grabbing my microphone for audio purposes.
Yeah.
But man, you are a mobile speaker.
Yes,
so
I am.
I don't think this.
It's only like snippy. You're only gonna use clips of that. Clips, you know.
Yeah, I feel like this might be like an audio only thing, because I know at some point I just had your torso and I was like, oh, that's not helpful.
I'm sorry. It can't
No.
be contained in one spot.
It was great. It was a beautiful thing that this wonderful intimate group gets to share.
Thank you
and
for
everyone
having
else
me
gets to
out.
hear your words of wisdom. So
Appreciate you.
thank you so very much for making the drive out. It's a terrible drive, that stretch of the 401.
It's worth
so
it. It's worth it.
thank you very much. It was wonderful to have you here. Wonderful to hear you speak. I love the Anne Szumigalski lecture series because there is so much to poetry. And last year it was Titi Lopez Sonuga, who is also a spoken word artist. But she just inhabits like such a different space in her work. And then we've also had like Anne Carson, who she was like one of the first ones I don't think she talks to us anymore. I don't think she talks to anyone anymore.
Oh, no.
But I have a funny story about Anne Carson. Someone was doing an event and they were like, hey, Anne Carson, can we have your bio? And she was like, sure. And the bio she sent was, Anne Carson is a poet.
That's it.
That's it.
Straight to the point.
Anyway, I love hearing and seeing the different ways that poetry moves in poets and in communities and in spaces, and the general kind of theme for the lecture series is poets on poetry. And I love how broad it is because I love seeing what everyone brings to it. So thank you very much.
It's been an honor. Thank you so much for having me out, everyone. I appreciate you.
Thank you to everyone for joining us. And thank you to everyone who might listen to the probably audio only recording of this.
Couple video clips, we can salvage couple video clips.
And thank you to Whoopsie Daisy and Jordan, who's been here making our wonderful drinks, and Logan, who was here earlier, for hosting us in your beautiful space. And we will get out of your hair very soon. Thank you so much. Thank you.